Good evening, everybody. Joe from NDB Aviation. Tonight, I'm going to step away from my usual stuff, flight simulation, aviation-oriented issues and discussions, and talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, but a completely different side topic for me is photography, videography, something I grew up around and really enjoyed with some family members, one in particular, looking back on trips to go take photos of the Aurora Borealis as a kid and stargazing, all kinds of other stuff with photography that kind of introduced me to the whole thing and why I still chase it today, and it's one of my hobbies on the side and how I make videos, of course. But recently I've been going through a couple of cameras. The last one before this one was the EOS, the Canon EOS R6. I really like that camera. However, there are a couple of things that I really wanted to step up and get something a little different, and I had always been looking forward to this specific camera, which I have right now, the Sony a7 IV. Now, this camera I've been waiting for a very long time. The R6, I decided to see if I could find a way to try it out. I found a way to get one and try some of the lenses out with it. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time with it, and I really didn't have any major flaws or anything negative to say about it, but what I really wanted was the Sony. I've never had a Sony. I've known the Nikon system somewhat, Canon pretty well. Tried out the Panasonic S5 last year and was really amazed with some things. However, the camera had to be able to be used by my wife, but that kind of killed it because we needed a good autofocus, and this one, I gotta say, I've enjoyed the autofocus a lot better. But the whole point about this video is to talk about the overheating issues that I've experienced so far with the a7 IV. Now, there are two main issues I've been having with it. It has shut down when I've been in the menus, setting up the menus to make it easier for me to run and gun, following the kids, and do other work with the camera, whether it's photography or videography. And then while shooting videos with the 4K 24p Si with setting up that way, even with the LCD flipped out for cooling purposes, with the standard auto off, I was getting about 6 to 8 minutes. However, each video it went a little bit longer. So what I'm going to talk about real quick, if you don't know, if you go to Sony's website, you can set up the overall auto power off temp. I printed it off here, got some notes on it as well. But you go into the menu, setup, power setting option, auto power off temp, and set it to high. Now, I'm going to put up over here the screen grab of what this says. There are a couple caveats here to think about. It doesn't take a lot of the shooting time down a whole lot. They're saying at 25 degrees Celsius for 4K, approximately 120 minutes, which is the same for HD. But then if you're doing the same thing and you turn it to high, HD it still says 120 minutes, but at 4K you're looking at 30 minutes max runtime. And then at the bottom, at the note, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, note, even if auto power off temp is set to high, depending on the conditions or the temperature of the camera, the recordable time for movies may not change. Now, this is probably a CYA for them overall, and it covers a lot of things, but it may not fix your issues, who knows. Most people I've seen online commenting about this have not had any issues once they set the auto power off to high versus standard. But let's go back and talk about the two instances where I ended up having the camera shut down on me. The first one was Christmas Eve. We were done setting things up for the night for the kids, everything else. I was playing with the camera off and on all day. I had turned it off, put it away for a while. My kids went to bed. My wife finally went to bed, and I'm in the bed now. I pull out the a7. I'm playing with the menus, trying to get everything set up for today, Christmas Day. And I get the video settings set up. No, not shooting any photos, not shooting any videos. And about the time I finished setting up all the video settings the way I wanted them to work, all the custom buttons, it gave me the warning and shut the camera off. Now, I gave it about a minute, wouldn't turn back on. Give it about 2, still wouldn't turn back on. And about after 3 minutes, I was finally able to get it to start back up. Nothing was weird about it after that, but I was just surprised that in the menus, it actually shut itself down to an overheat issue, especially at night in my house, where it's probably somewhere between 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius was at 23 to 24 basically, probably 23, maybe 22. Sorry, I'm not good off the top of my head for that math, but that's something that I expect to be fixed later on with a firmware update to handle whatever's going on inside the camera, whether it's the IBIS or something else that kept generating heat, even though I was only in the menu system. So I expect that one to be fixed at some point, hopefully Sony, and that to improve. The next time was today during Christmas Day. I wanted to leave the auto power off setting to standard to see where it would kill the camera at that point, or at least automatically shut it off. The first time was about 6.5 minutes. The time following that was about 7, after that 8, and after that 9, which was very interesting to me because this was all a trend that was getting better as each one went. So I wasn't sure if this had something to do with something within the camera. You know, I don't know cameras like I know aviation, so I don't want to make too many assumptions here, but there are times even in aviation where some things get better as you use them. So I expect maybe there's something inside the camera, whether it's some kind of insulation, some kind of soldering, something with the CPU, the overall build quality of the camera, where maybe it is actually doing better as it gets warmer and gets used over and over again. Or it could just be complete coincidence and timing. I don't know. So I'm not going to try to pretend I have an answer for that. But once I swapped it over to high for the auto off, I haven't had any other issues. I haven't had any other warnings, anything else. It's acted completely different with no problems whatsoever. Now, if I start seeing those problems creep back up, I'll put a follow-up video, and at that point I'll try to get actual times every time it shuts off. And then also I'm going to borrow somebody's infrared gun to get temperatures of the camera. But a couple things I did do to help out the camera at this point. And if you read through this little help guide on Sony's website for the a7 IV, they pretty much say this as well. Turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the Bluetooth, and all these tests were done with a CF Express Type A memory card. So I don't know if the SD cards maybe produce a little bit more heat due to heat dissipation of the devices. Again, I don't know these things because I don't study this, and I'm sure somebody like Jared Polin, Jason Morris, or DPT Review TV, Gerald Undone, or maybe even the guy that's a flat earther from Camera Conspiracies, was it? You know, those guys might dive into this one a little bit deeper and have an idea of what's really triggering these overheat issues. And maybe even Sony will release some other information in a firmware update coming that will say this is why we had overheating, or just be a computer glitch inside the camera. But I hope this is helpful for you all. I know this is stepping away from my usual video here on YouTube, considering my stuff is usually aviation focused, but I love photography. I'm trying to get better with it, and it's something I do to, you know, have a fun, safe, enjoyable hobby in life that furthers my training in it that I've had throughout my life now. But if you guys have any questions or comments about this video, I'll try to help as best I can. And if I see somebody else's video that goes even better and more so in depth for why there is overheating with this camera, I'll try to link it below to help out, because at this point I'm just trying to help others that are out there that just bought the a7 IV and maybe didn't know about the auto off standard or high setting. So thank you guys very much. Like and subscribe if you even liked it. Otherwise, leave your complaints down below. See you guys next time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.